Oh, there you are, YouTube. So as a part of our Keanu Reeves marathon, we just watched The Watcher, which Keanu Reeves is in. You wouldn't know it from looking at this. Actually, you might, because his name is there very little. But he did not appear in much of the marketing for this movie because he did not want to be in the movie at all. So my wife had some reservations about watching this because, she loves Keanu Reeves and she's like, do I really want to watch a movie that he didn't want to be in? Apparently he was tricked into being in this movie. The director used to play hockey, like street hockey with Keanu. Maybe it was real hockey, I don't know. Maybe it was street hockey. I don't know. But they played hockey together and they sort of like came to this verbal agreement that Keanu would be in one of his movies to sort of, beef up the budget, say, yeah, I'll be in this movie. And then that director was like, hey, look, Keanu's going to be in the movie. Give me more money. But the agreement was like a very small part. But the script was rewritten and basically Keanu was given, kind of co-lead role. I mean, he's a serial killer, so he's like the bad guy. He's not like the main, like cop that's going after the killer, which is James Spader. Or, the cop is James Spader. Keanu Reeves is the serial killer that James Spader is going after. And it sort of has, well, let me get into the plot a little bit later. So basically, Keanu was like, well, I don't, why did you make the story about me? I was just supposed to be this small part. I don't know if I want to be in this anymore. And basically his people, his lawyers were like, well, you made this verbal agreement, so it'd be tough to back out. And I guess somebody even forged Keanu's signature on the contract, making it even, forcing him even further to be in this movie. So he was in the movie, and I doubt he and the director are friends anymore. That would be my guess. So he didn't do any press for the movie at all, and he didn't. I guess he wasn't allowed to talk about the problems that he had with the movie until a year afterwards that the movie had come out. So yeah, just a lot of drama behind it, and he did not want to be in it. So again, my wife was a little like, I don't know if we want to watch this, but I was like, I don't know, it sounds cool, let's watch it. So we watched it tonight. Keanu Reeves is back there, by the way, so he's not on the front, although that is his hair. I thought that was a guy wearing a hood, but no, that's his hair, or at least the double's hair. And let me get to the double a little bit later. So yeah, he is a serial killer, and basically he thinks he is like, this movie is sort of like Joker and Batman without the superhero-ness. He thinks he's the Joker, and he thinks James Spader is Batman. He thinks their purpose in life is to coexist with one another. James Spader chases him, he kills women so that James Spader has something to do. If one is not doing the other, they will fall and fail and not have purpose in life. So he's very much obsessed with James Spader in this movie, and it just very much felt like Batman and Joker, and James Spader being Batman, essentially. And then it was like Keanu's character would get jealous of these women that James Spader had in his life. So James Spader, back when his character lived in LA, which is where Keanu was doing most of his killings, had this mistress, a married woman that he was sleeping with, and Keanu eventually killed her. So I'm giving away a lot right now, so the spoilers here. Killed her, and then it sent Spader into a spiral, and then I don't know, should I be giving all this away? Maybe I shouldn't. Basically, a lot of cool people are in this movie. I think you should watch it. Maybe I shouldn't give everything away. James Spader's in it. Keanu Reeves is in it. Marissa Tomei is in it. Ernie Hudson, right? Zeddemore. Ernie Hudson is in it. Man, I can't remember his name because my wife and I know him as Spaceman because he's in all the space movies from the 90s. He's in Apollo 13. He's in Armageddon. I think he's in other ones. And his name is Chris Ellis. Look him up, and then you will say, oh yeah, he is the Spaceman. So I don't know, this movie, the director, I feel like this movie could have been, I think it is good. I think it's good. I, realize it's not the greatest movie ever, but I think the only major problem I had with it was the director not staying consistent with their filming style, because they are using a lot of different camera tricks here, like slow frame rate, and sort of utilizing that as Keanu's point of view, but they aren't consistent with it because they will use it as his point of view in some areas, but then also film his soon to be victim when it's not even his point of view with that camera style. Sometimes it looks like video camcorder footage. Sometimes it goes a little black and white, and it seems to be done arbitrarily. And maybe it's supposed to be, even though he's not watching, this future victim, he's maybe thinking about them, but the image that we're seeing isn't something in his mind. It's actually what this, victim is doing. They're at home doing normal things, but we're watching them in like this slow frame rate. So it just doesn't make sense. And we're also hearing his breathing, and this is all before he's in there. Or maybe he's in their apartment, but the point of view that we're seeing is not Keanu's, but it's almost suggesting that it is. So it's sort of all over the map when it comes to the rules of this point of view, slow frame rate style camera, or that we're looking at. It just, I don't know, it seemed a little bit messy and inconsistent. And I don't know, that just wasn't necessarily a good, I don't know, I think it could have been a good choice if it was purely done when it is his exact point of view, because it wasn't always like that and it got really messy. Also, the soundtrack was kind of fun. I heard Sneaker Pimps, I heard White Zombie, or maybe it was just Rob Zombie. I don't know. What's Dragula? Is that White Zombie or just Rob? I think it's just Rob. But yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of like late 90s music. This movie came out in 2000, so I'm sure some of the songs were probably 2000 as well, but that was a lot of fun. The very end had this strange, like it kind of did that whole crane shot, I don't know, or maybe all the diehards have done this, the crane shot at the end, when the cops have arrived and the firemen are there and the ambulance and everything. They did one of those, and there was a matte painting of Chicago that was very cartoony, very awkward, very weird, but I don't know. It was weird. It made, I don't know, the movie had stylistic qualities, but that was a very different stylistic quality than the rest of the movie. Also, speaking of 90s, again, this was a 2000 movie, but that green that was in almost every 90s music video? It was kind of like a, I don't know, it ranged that sometimes it was like a milky jade, sometimes it was like emerald, like highly saturated emerald, sometimes it was, I don't know, there's just a lot of green, acidic green in the 90s, and sometimes that would happen as well. I feel like the very opening credits were sort of that way, if I remember correctly, had a lot of that green sort of filter over everything that you were seeing. But anyway, I just think the camera tricks, if the rules were a little more specific, I think things would have gelled a little bit better. That was really the only issue for me. I don't know, it had a lot of fun noir styles to it. Keanu's doing some weird stuff in it. He's very cocky serial killer. I think it's cool how much we actually get to see him, because I think other movies would not do that, and I don't think Keanu was happy with that. I think also because he did not want to be in it, they made special arrangements to where he didn't have to do reshoots, because there are a lot of shots where you can tell it's not him. It is a double. It is not Keanu. Even some close-ups on the face, it is not Keanu. It is a double. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. How did they use that shot? I mean, it looks like him, but that's not him. It is so strange. So that is funny. Go in looking for those because they are very jarring. You don't have to look for them. You will see them. It's kind of like, oh, why? Whoa, that's definitely not his hair when he, like some running scenes when it's not him, but the close-ups, it's like, why did they do that? Oh my goodness. Probably would have been better just to not have that shot because that is not Keanu Reeves. But anyway, again, I like the movie, I think a lot more than my wife did, but I also, you know, she really feels for Keanu, so I think that's kind of going into her review, where, you know, she just kind of feels bad that he had to do a project that he didn't want to do. But I kind of liked it, and I just wish the rules with the camera tricks were a little bit tighter. But otherwise, I could see myself watching this again, easily. Yeah, James Spader is good, Tomei is good, Ernie Hudson is good, and everyone else. Spaceman, also. Keanu Reeves. He does some funny, weird dancing stuff in it. Anyways, I think I'm at 11 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. And thank you so much for watching this review on The Watcher. I recommend it, actually. Yeah, check it out. The music is fun. I don't know. It's just an interesting piece of the year 2000. So check it out for that reason. And also look for Keanu's body doubles. Perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.